10 Economic Principles.
Hey there, everyone. Good day. I am your host today. So today we're going to explain the 10 economic principles in real life situation. So let's start, everyone. Are you ready?
Yes! Yes, let's get interactive. Everyone's taking a turn, so bring your best ideas. Let's go!
All right. First principle: people face trade-offs. Jai, you go first.
Sure thing. Trade-offs are about choices. Like last weekend, I had to decide between working extra hours for a cash or attending my cousin's birthday party. I choose work, so I miss out on the fun.
You traded cake for cash. Sounds like solid economics.
Nice one! Next, the second principle. The cost of something is what you give up to get it. Tresha, over to you.
Absolutely. This is about opportunity cost. For example, I spent $50 on a new book instead of using that money to go to the movies with friends. The book's amazing, but the movie night is what I gave up.
That's tough. I choose popcorn over pages any day.
Fair enough. Moving on to the third principle: rational people think at the margin. Dane, your turn.
Okay, imagine I'm baking cookies. After making 12, I think about whether baking a 13th one is worth the extra effort. If the cost outweighs the benefit, I stop.
Wow, smart baker. Marginal analysis enough. Love it! The fourth principle. People respond to incentives. Janine, can you explain?
Sure, incentives are everywhere. For example, teachers offering bonus points for early submissions. Students are more likely to turn in their work on time.
Haha, I need that in my life. Deadlines are my nemesis.
You're not alone. The fifth principle: trade can make everyone better off. Faden, that's your turn.
Think about a pizza party. If I bring soda and you bring pizza, we both get a better meal. Trade works because I specialize in not cooking.
A classic win-win.
Perfect. Now for the sixth principle. Markets are usually a good way to organize economic activity. Jay, any ideas?
Markets let buyers and sellers interact naturally. For instance, a farmer's market allows local growers to set prices based on demand. If strawberries are in season, they're cheaper. No intervention needed.
Great. Example of the invisible hand at work.
Well said. The seventh principle: government can sometimes improve market outcomes. Trisha, you're up.
Sure. I think about pollution. If factories pollute rivers, government can impose fines or regulation that ensure companies don't harm public resources while still running their businesses.
Governments as referees, keeping the game fair.
Nice. The eighth principle. A country's standard of living depends on its production. Dane?
Productivity is key. For example, Germany produces high-quality cars, improving living standards. The more efficiently a country produces, the better off its people are.
That's why education and training are so important. They build productivity.
Excellent. The ninth principle: prices raised when government prints too much money. Janine, can you explain this?
Sure, if the government prints too much money, inflation happens. For example, in Zimbabwe, excessive printing caused hyperinflation, making even basic goods unaffordable.
It's like Monopoly. Too much fake money ruins the game.
So true. Finally, the 10th principle. Society faces a short-run trade-off between inflation and unemployment. Faden, wrap it up for us.
So for this principle is about balance. If the government spends more to create jobs, inflation might rise temporarily. It's like balancing on a seesaw. You can't fix one side without affecting the other.
A delicate balancing act indeed.
Wow, excellent job, everyone. Linking this principle to real life Real life example can make it easier to remember, right?
Totally. Keep this energy for the exam. See you all at the next session.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you so much. Bye.